Let's start. Thanks for being here. I'm delighted to have you. So, this is my human conversations collection. So, I'm trying to understand life better through my personalities as you, my friend.
Yeah.
So, my guest today just finished something I haven't finished yet. We share a supervisor, a research program, a scholarship, and we have been building and spending too many hours in. My guest, Alan, he came from Kenya. He was a government official and he did this PhD with his job waiting for him back home. So today I want to understand what that journey looked like from your side, the pressure, the coursework, the supervisor, and whether it was worth it. So welcome, Alan.
Thank you.
Let's begin.
Yes.
If a stranger asks you, like, not what you do or not where you're from, who are you? Who is Alan?
Yeah. So it's a broad question. Alan is a guy from Kenya. First of all, I come from Kenya, as you just said. Yeah. Previously, I was working in the government before I came to China to pursue my PhD, and yeah, of course, I'm still working with the government. So then I got the scholarship to come to China. So then I had my family back home, my wife and my extended family. So then I came to China. I started my studies here. Yeah, about myself, I think it's a broad question to say, but I'm quite a chill person. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about my personalities, but I'm a
That's
chill
all right.
person. Yeah, I like meeting with friends. And my chance here in China allowed me to meet with many people. So I got an opportunity to interact with many people. So I've been able to have a broad scope as an individual to meet with other people. So I'm kind of that kind of a person that is chilled and trying to also make myself network with many people as much as I can. So briefly, I can say that's who I am. Yeah, just a chill guy. I'm a simple person.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
What's something true about you that most people who sees you here as a student or as a researcher would never guess?
I can say I'm a genuine person. I'm a honest person. Yeah, something that maybe I'm also a chilled person. Uh, Many a times my wife says I'm an extrovert, but I think I'm an introvert. Sometimes I like just having my own space, chilling,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. There's a hidden part of you that I experience, like being close to you, because from the research, from the work from the student, I feel you very focused, very serious. I didn't realize you were like chill, as you're saying. So maybe that's a hidden part of you.
yeah, absolutely. It's something that many people don't know. Maybe in the space we are in China, we are far away from family and sometimes far away from friends as well. So there's a way people get to know you back home, which might be a little bit different from the way people get to know you here.
Exactly.
And the fact that you come and meet with people from diverse backgrounds, sometimes we could be having some differences in our interactions. Maybe the way you interact with your friends back home, you interact with them in a very intimate manner, and here you come to a place where people don't have the same view of life sometimes. People tend to have some kind of way that they deal with their stuff, which might not really be something that aligns with how you do your thing. So sometimes it might be a complexity trying to fit into the diversity of people, but it's also a good thing. It's a good thing because you get to experience life from a different perspective. Yeah, so I think socially, I can say uh, I was a bit constrained while I was here in China. Yeah, because back home I know myself to be a very social person. Like I have a good network of friends that I interact with. So, but coming here to China, it was all about books and the pressure of school. So sometimes I really wanted to have this interaction with people, but sometimes you remember you have some weekly meetings with your professor. So I tended to kind of like have my focus on books because it was the main purpose for which I came to China. And so in as much as I try to have the balance, which is something I admired in you, because I've been telling you, like, I admire how you manage to balance schoolwork, you go to the gym, you get time to participate in the school activities. But for me, that's another hidden thing about me. Whenever I try to kind of like try and mix this balance, to me, I find myself like giving so much attention to one thing, which tends to affect other areas of my purpose here in China. So I would really try to have bits of the other parts, like if you have activities in school, we played football together. So I was really trying to split myself into all this. We also we used to find ourselves in the gym sometimes. So I'd really try to split myself into all these facets of life, but I was really finding myself giving a big chunk of my time to my academics. So it really kind of affected my other areas of life, like social life, because when I was back home, I had a rich network of, I can say my social life was a bit healthy. Yeah, but when I came to China, in a way, it kind of constrained my social life, although I had some activities I was participating in. So in a broad sense, I can say that is what my experience has been.
That's nice. You say something very interesting. Here we learn from different people, different countries, different personalities. So I'm curious. Take me to where you grew up in Kenya. What did that place make you?
Yeah, so back in Kenya, there are so many things Kenya has instilled in me as an individual to the point I am right now. First of all, is the social fabric of the people. You know, there's always that pride of connecting with the people you come with from the same country. So in terms of my social, I'll start with the social aspect. It has really built me because in my country, we come from a place where to do many things, you need a lot of connections. So in terms of connectivity, I think Kenya has really invested in my social networks. I've been able to connect well with people back home. And in terms of physical aspects, there's so much to do. Like Kenya has given me a good exposure in terms of getting to experience the vast diversity of the country. There are so many things that we have so many tribes, we have so many people there. So that physical connection with people, it has really helped me get to see life in different facets because you meet different people. The same way we are here in China. You meet people from different backgrounds. It gives you a different perspective of life.
You came from a tribe? You have those
Yes,
roots?
yes.
Like how many tribes in Kenya?
We have 47 tribes in Kenya.
47 tribes.
Yes.
Which is your tribe?
Mine is called Kisi.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the tribes. It comes from the western part of the country, in a province called Nyanza. So,
how you differentiate the tribes? Because the place you were born?
Well, how? Sorry.
How do you differentiate people from tribes? Let's say, can you tell this guy is from my tribe?
Yes, by the language.
Okay.
Yes. So also sometimes you can easily tell by the appearance, because people from a certain region, they tend to have a certain kind of appearance.
Okay. Accent also, right?
Accent. So there are many things. And like people from the western side, like the coastal part of the country, people tend to be a bit lighter. Also in the eastern part, people tend to be a bit, mostly you can tell by their accent, because in as much as the western part of the country, most people are dark, but there are some who are also light. So from physical appearance, you can tell some things about a person. But the most identifying factor is the accent and the tribe. So if there's a language that they speak, so if you get to hear someone speak a certain language, you can identify them with a certain tribe. So that diversity of the country has really helped me to see life from different perspectives, because imagine you've met with the 47 people 47 people from 47 tribes. All these people, they have their different cultures, they have different views of life. So by interacting with these people, there are people even up to date I've never like met in my country. That's how vast the country is. Like there are some very minor tribes that I've never met people from those single tribes. Yeah, so
That's interesting. Very different from the world I came
yeah,
to hear about tribes and stuff. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
very interesting.
Uh-huh.
So let's explore some Kenya. You were a public officer before to come here, right? So what were you actually doing, and what problems were you dealing with every day, or what problems can you share from the public sector?
Yeah, so I'm working with the government.
Okay.
I'm a finance officer. So as a finance officer, what we do majorly is to budget for government projects. So the finance department deals with budgeting of, it's like budgeting, it means you allocate resources to different projects in the country. So for example, in my previous station before I came to China, I was working in the transport sector. So in the transport sector, we have the transport projects. So these projects could be airports, they could be the port areas, where the ships come. So those ports, we also have the railways, we have also the Civil Aviation Authority, which they control the airspace. So, and they give the aviation services. So all this, and before we had some other uh, organizations like state-owned enterprises and transport like Kenya Maritime Authority. So these were all domiciled under transport. So as a finance officer, we would allocate funding from the national government to these projects that are conducted by these state-owned enterprises. So on a day-to-day basis, that was what I used to do. And government is an interesting place to be. It has so many opportunities. I can say the benefits in government is the kind of override the disadvantages, because it's because of government that I've been able to come to China. So I would do a disservice to say that I've had a bad experience in government. Of course, there are challenges here and there that you interact sometimes when you're working with people, just like in any other area of life. Where people live, of course, there are times you'll always have the conflict with people from time to time, but that is not a big issue. But the main thing is that in the government sector, you're able to get a vast experience. Government has trained me on very many places and on very many courses. It has allowed me an opportunity to come and study in China for 3 years, still getting my pay. So it is a very good and rare opportunity, because many people that I know, friends that I know even here in China, some had to resign for them to come and do their studies here. But for me, I'm grateful to my government, the government of Kenya, for they allowed me an opportunity to come, take study leave, come and study. But now I have to go back and continue working with them. So I can say the benefits override the disadvantages.
Okay, so this is a straight question. Would you come here to China if you would need to quit from your job?
If at all I didn't have this opportunity, like if I was to choose between coming to China and pursuing my job, I'd say maybe one thing I should state, like it was my goal, like ever since when I was doing my studies, like my bachelor's, my master's, it was always my goal to like finish PhD at a very tender age, like at the earliest opportunity possible. So whenever I was doing my academics, that's where my focus was always been, and I work best with goals. So the thing is, I decided in my life, like I wanted to finish my PhD, if possible, below when I'm below 40 years. So because in my country, most people finish their PhDs at the when they're about to retire. So when someone is about to get to 60 years, that's when people strive to do their PhD. But I wanted to undo that. So like my father himself, he got his PhD when he was almost retiring. So it's something I didn't want because I wanted to reap the full benefits of this level of academics. So my choice would be, if I was to choose between coming to work or to staying to work and coming to study, if I was in a, let's say, private sector, it would be a tough decision, I can say. But if I was coming to China and I had a promise of getting a better opportunity, then I would come to pursue my PhD with the hope that I'll get a better opportunity after getting the PhD. But if I didn't have the opportunity, like to come, if I finish my PhD, if I didn't get an opportunity to come and maybe get another opportunity, like a better job, then that would mean I would probably have to pursue my job, because we also have to provide for our family. So it would be a tough decision for me. But it has always been my desire, I can say. But hopefully, but gratefully, I can say the government offers us this opportunity. So that would be a tough decision, but I think I'd consider working, because we still have to provide. Because in China, it would mean I would come to focus on my studies and get to maybe depend fully maybe on the stipend. So if that was the case, then it would mean I would give a difficult life to my family. So I think it would be a tough choice, but I'd choose to continue working until maybe when I've have good enough savings, then maybe later I could come to pursue my studies.
All right. I ask you that question because sometimes I wonder and I want to understand better my decision. 'Cause I left my job and I sold my car, and then I'm spending my savings here. Well, anyway, sometimes I wonder, sometimes I am thankful for being here because it's a big opportunity. Even though we're kind of struggling with the budget, but I think we will figure it out. But also, I wanted to explore this framework because so many people ask me, why didn't I ask for a leave or something like that? Sometimes it's very difficult to explain, but let's say in Ecuador, in public and private institutions, in Ecuador back home, so positions often depends on connections and politics, not merit. So the law exists, but it is not applied. So getting a leave of absence is not a simply bureaucratic matter, if you know what I'm saying or you know what I mean.
I get you.
So yeah, that's thought framework to acquaint from my context or my perspective in Ecuador. So, so yeah, something is like do it now or never.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I came here.
You came here, yeah.
Yeah.
I also think on that, it's actually a good opportunity getting to come to China, because I honestly like the exposure that I've gotten here. It's the first time I'm doing my studies outside my country, but when I was also, I think it's also your case, but for my case, when I was looking to pursue my PhD, I was really open. I was trying to do applications all over. So I would send my applications to very many countries. I sent to Europe, I sent to Japan. In Europe, I sent to some countries like Serbia, I sent to Hungary, and there was also
I sent to Hungary.
Yeah,
they have a good scholarship, right?
Yeah, though at the time they were saying that the stipend they were offering might not be sufficient, so you might actually need to do some job on the side to supplement your living. But I don't know, maybe it's different kind of scholarship.
Yeah, maybe, but that was my main aim because close to my home.
your
I
home,
was
yeah.
also applying everywhere: China,
Yeah.
Hungary, Italy, France.
Uh-huh.
But the most feasible, it looked like the Hungary one.
Hungary, yes.
So I was applying over there, but it went to China, so we are here.
Yeah.
Then let's go to China. So let's move the conversation to China. What did China look like before you arrived? And what surprised you most in the first week, in the first month?
So it's an interesting question. Of course, before I came to China, the moment I realized I'd gotten the scholarship, of course, I was very excited because it was something I was looking forward to. I always wanted to do my PhD under scholarship, and definitely in a different country because in my country, normally, PhD can take a really long time for you to finish. So the moment I secured this scholarship, I started checking online details about China, trying to understand how China looks like, what are some of the interesting features in China. And I was really thrilled by the development that China, I've always heard about how developed China is. So I was always thrilled to come and see like physically how this kind of development looks like. And of course the natural features, the cuisines, the language, the people. So I was always thrilled that these are the people, these are things I've always been seeing. Like, you know, when I was young, I used to see movies like, I used to see figures like Jet Li, figures like this guy, is it not Jackie Chan? Is it Jackie
Bruce
Chan?
Lee. Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, Jackie
Chan
Chan.
is Chinese also.
Yeah. So I was always curious, man, to find myself. How can I find myself in this country where there are all these stars?
Yeah,
So then I was very curious.
But you know, that's really funny from my perspective. I always want to find here the kung fu style and something like that, but it's not like
It's not,
that.
yeah, it's very different.
So you have the same view.
That is one of the shocks that I got. You see, the things we always see, they portray like these people, they are good at kung fu and all that. So I was expecting like coming to China, you'd see all these things happening, people doing all that. But China is a very chilled place. When the moment I came to China, the first thing I was amazed is how developed the place is. That is one thing that is for sure. Yeah, from the moment I landed at Tianfu airport, a friend of mine came to pick me, and I was really amazed. The first time I saw the escalator, those things are very long. Like, they are not things I frequently see in my country. Then the subways, those are things that are not so developed in my country. So I was really amazed at how developed they are. But one shock that I got was the language, where you just hit the airport. Of course, at the airport, you can meet 1-2 people that can comfortably speak English. So that made it a bit easier. But the moment you step into the subway, it's something that I was really shocked. You really want to connect with people, but because of the language barrier, you cannot speak.
Very tough. It's
very tough.
Even though it's anecdotal, this kung fu stuff, a couple of times I have tried to ask, and nobody knows the words kung fu. Very curious.
Yeah, so
I think kung fu is something westernized. I mean, the word. Because they use another word, another terminology.
Yeah, maybe they have some local name that they give to the kung fu.
But I was very curious. I always try to make fun with kung fu, and nobody.
So then I think the language is the biggest shock for me, and then the food also. Where we are right now in Sichuan, they do a lot of hot pot, a lot of spicy foods. So if you come from a place where you're not so used to the very spicy foods, then you should be prepared for some really shock.
But in Kenya, do you eat spicy food, right?
We do. Actually, the good thing for me, I didn't have a big problem. The only challenge for me is that at some point I was having some stomach issues. I had some acidity problems, so it's not so good with the spicy food.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but over time, of course, when you spend some few months, you can be able to get used to their dishes.
Yeah. I feel you. I totally feel you. I love spicy food, but I can't because of my tummy.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah. Let's continue. China, amazing. So then let's go to the university. 2 years of coursework,
Uh-huh.
calculus, econometrics, theory. What was that experience like for you?
Wow. You know, my experience was a bit unique, slightly different from yours because I started my first year online. So it was quite difficult for me because I remember when we were beginning, we were about 6 to 7, between 5 and 7, let's say 5 to 7 students online. So a couple of them dropped out because of different challenges, and we ended up remaining two of us. Some of them, one of them I know, came to China, so he dropped the online classes. So whenever we do our online classes for the first year, it was very difficult for me. In fact, this level of education, I always say it's the one that really pushed me to my limits. And I was like, if I can be able to survive this pressure, then there's no way I cannot be able to survive because the pressure for me was too much. I remember at some point I almost gave up and I was telling my academic advisor that I just feel like I should drop out. Actually, there's a course I really wanted to drop because that course, you know, I was never used to this structure whereby you're given assignments every week and in few days you're told you're having your midterm. You have a couple of midterms falling around the same time. So I was never really prepared for this kind of pressure. And you know, you're back home, you're online, you don't know anyone. So even the little people that you knew, they're all struggling, that just like I was. So we could just compare notes, few notes here and there. It was quite hectic. But the thing I realized is that the first semester is the ground where they test your limits. Once you're able to go through the first semester, the second semester and the semester coming thereafter should be able to be manageable because the first semester tests your limits and it kind of prepares you for the system that you're enrolling into. Yeah, so for me, this first semester was the hardest of all in my coursework period. So once I got through the first semester, the rest of the semesters I was able to manage. Second year for me was an enjoyable year, I can say. Kinda relaxed than the first year because first year was full of exams, midterms. In second year, we were only dealing with term papers and presentations, which was quite easy because it's just a matter of reading some papers, maybe preparing some term papers, which was not really a thing that pushes you so much because for me, exams was the toughest thing. So I kind of enjoyed my second year compared to my first year. So that's how my 2 years of coursework was.
I am amused about your answer because, from my perspective, I thought for you, for Solomon, for some students that I saw with really good grades, I thought like it was not that much bad for you, like the journey that I had. Because let me be honest and very straightforward. The first year, the coursework was a nightmare for me. It was a nightmare. So calculus especially, and my personality, it's kind of very, very pragmatic. So I don't really pursue perfect marks. I pursue enough to move forward, let's say. But even though to get enough to move forward, it was very, very, very difficult. So yeah.
Yeah,
I was amused and how good you, some of my classmates were studying. So most of them has good marks. So I was amused, even inspired, and I admire how the discipline, how good are for studying, because studying requires a lot of uh, discipline. So let's go to that side, trying to explore your personality. Did grades really matter to you? Not the official answer. Tell me the real one. The grades, the marks,
yeah,
are very, very important for you.
okay. For me, my principle, I can say, is always try to give your best shot in everything. So I was always aiming high to get the best grades. But even if I don't happen to get the best, but at least I'll fall somewhere close to that best. So for me, I can say grades really matter. In as much as they always say that in PhD, the grades don't matter. They always care more about the publications. But I still mattered. It still mattered to me. I still cared about...
That's something that I admire. So what drives a person to want to master every detail?
I think it's more of a personality, I don't know. Because personally, the way I work as an individual, I always want to give the best. So that is always a driving factor, like within, I don't know, it's more of self-drive. And my wife always says that I'm a goal-oriented person. Like the moment I set a goal, I always do my best to achieve the goal. And not just to achieve it, but to achieve it to perfection. So even in school, it's something I've always wanted. Sometimes it's really difficult because you really want to achieve your best, but some courses just disappoint you. You really set, you're giving your best, you're spending so much time trying to grasp the contents, but when it comes to the exams, you do the exams and sometimes you're just surprised by what you get. So it's something.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
It's okay.
Sometimes I was really fighting back to my mind because I felt some stuff is useless. So that's a really big challenge. What drives me to another question. So was there ever a moment for you in the coursework where you thought, this isn't worth it?
Many times. There are things that we did that for sure I thought, these things are not really necessary. Because, we were given a couple of credits. We were given like a threshold of credits that we're supposed to meet, a minimum number of credits. For my case, it was 38 credits. So, in all due respect, I think something like Chinese, honestly, it's good anyway that we got to learn the language, and I am really grateful because I can be able to like grasp some of these things. But there's some language courses like Chinese language, honestly, that it's good, it helps you to communicate, but the way it's prioritized, it's like you're really forced to do some language course that for me, probably I might never really ever use it again. So I find like that was not so necessary. And also there are some courses that I would not like maybe to mention, but there are some courses which had concepts that I might never really use in my entire lifetime. Even in my case of, in my thesis, I've never used some of those things that we were taught. So in my view, I think like if they could actually reduce the courses so that people, or rather a person, has more time to do their thesis, that would be more beneficial. Maybe the structure should be more focused on the field a person is, because I realize finance people and economics people, we actually share majority of the courses.
Yeah,
so it's only very few courses that distinguishes the two. So it means we have like so many courses, some of them might not really be relevant. So if we could have less credits, or rather less courses, and have more time to do our thesis, and even make publication a requirement, because it sharpens a person. When you have a requirement, it really pushes you to get better results, get better work that can be accepted in the publishing.
Yeah, sorry. How was the transition from coursework to research?
Yes.
How did you feel it?
It was quite smooth for me. How my journey began, first of all, I remember there was a time my academic advisor invited us to, or rather told us to look for supervisors. So for a long time, not really long for me, I can say, but for just some good number of times, I tried looking for one. I approached one of my supervisors, one of my professors that taught me a course that was machine learning. So at that time, I was looking for a supervisor that would coach me in the field of agriculture, because my first idea was about agriculture, because agriculture is the mainstay of my country, so I was so into agriculture. So I tried approaching a couple of supervisors on the same. So I was glad because I approached 3 of them, and they were also positive. So I approached another supervisor that taught me a course, who was now my current supervisor, Professor Shaw, and kudos to him, he's a very nice professor. He taught me regional and urban economics. So I also approached the professor for industrial organization. So those were 3 professors: machine learning, industrial organization, and regional economics. So all of them gave me a requirement to like do a draft of my idea. So I first approached the industrial organization. She gave me some tasks. Then I also approached my professor, the current one, Professor Shawe.
All right.
So
Sorry, continue.
yeah, so how the transition, I was trying to bring the transition. So how it began is the professor now asked me where I'm doing my work. So he gave me the task to come up with a write-up based on the kind of work that I do. So I told him I was working in transport. So then I gave him the details of the place where I work and the projects that we do. Then that's how I began my projects. So then in my second year, second semester, when I was still doing my final set of courses, that's when I began my thesis.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was the break point of the transition.
I heard that at some point you changed drastically the topic from corn to roads now. You're doing, right? So it happened the same to me. I changed from corruption to education. What do you think that happened?
For me, the reason why that happened was because my professor wanted me to do a thesis that was more inclined to the job that I do. So in as much as I'm a finance person, but as a finance person attached to the transport sector. So the idea was, he thought it would have been easier for me to get good data, and research is done on infrastructure. They are quite interesting. And he said they're interesting, and I actually thought the same, because infrastructure are things that really impact the livelihoods of people in a very direct manner, and also it's a gap that has not been explored so much. So that's why we decided to transition from maize to infrastructure, because of the
work.
Yeah.
I understand. So, can you explain in simple terms what's your dissertation about? Like for whoever is not an economist.
Yeah. So my dissertation is about infrastructure. We are looking at the impact of infrastructure on the welfare of households. So under welfare, we are looking at the education, we are looking at the health in terms of fertility, and we're also looking at the labor force participation. So we want to understand how infrastructure impacts these particular aspects of individuals in the rural areas.
All right. We explored so much about the student life. So tell me, how do you feel, or what's the difference between being a great student and being a great researcher? Are they the same person?
I think they're quite different, because in both cases you could find that people really had very good. Actually, I can say there are 3 categories. There are those people who do so well as great students, and they still do well as great researchers. Like they have a very smooth transition between being a student, like where you learn the courses, and being a researcher, because research is also an application of what you learn in class. But there are people who also are very good in the courses. They really had a good time in courses. But when it comes to research, it gives them some bit of difficulties. And there's also this other set of people who have a good background in research, and they have difficulties in the courses. For me, I can say it's like I had a mix of both, whereby I had a good share of being a good student in courses, and also I really tried my best in research, though research also is a bit time consuming. So I thought, when I was doing my courses, I thought courses was the hardest bit, until now I came to research. And I realized this is also another big elephant to finish. So I think this too depends on how you align yourself, because if you can be able to like understand the courses well, it will really be giving you a smooth ride somehow in the research, because I can say I really picked a lot of tips on research in my second year, especially when I was doing my presentations, when I was doing the term papers, especially this course of machine learning. It really equipped me with very many good skills of research. So when I transitioned to my research areas, or rather my research phase, I was really able to see how those skills are very useful, because I was very keen in this course of machine learning. That is just one example. And I liked how I was able to apply that in my research, because some of those things, like how you can clean your data, how you can generate your variables, those are things I actually picked from machine learning course, to be specific, because the professor was really thorough with us. So that really equipped me well with my research to some degree.
That's very good. You say something very interesting. Research is like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel it doesn't move neither a bit. So on the days nothing is working, what does self-discipline look like in practice for you? What's your advice?
Self-discipline is something that is so fundamental, because one thing I picked about research is there are days you'll totally see nothing, man. You'll do all you can, but you cannot get anything. But the trick is to stay at it, because the moment, you keep pushing, like where there's a will, there's always a way. If you really want to go through somewhere, if you're a strong-willed person, you'll actually get to go through. So that being a strong-willed person is another thing. Maybe I'm also strong-willed, because I remember there are days that I'd be so disappointed. I've like spent the full night trying to run some regressions, and you go to your professor, he tells you it's like you've done nothing. It's so discouraging. But he gives you some ideas that you go and try and implement. And finally, by you trying to see various options, you somehow get some way. And that persistence, that determination of really wanting to see yourself get something is really what kind of drove me to really push my work. So what I can say is that always stay at it, never really give up. Stay at it. Like the moment you see it's like you're not getting it, sometimes even just close your laptop, just take some rest. Sometimes even when you're sleeping, your head goes round and you get some ideas. And when you wake up maybe in the morning, you go and try to implement the idea, and the idea works. For sure, that has happened for me. And sometimes you just take a break. Sometimes maybe your brains are just too tired. So you can take a break, go do something, take a walk. Sometimes I would just take a walk around. Some days we'd even go for the bicycle riding over the weekends. And that thing is not really a waste. It really suits your mind. It really cools your mind, because the mind gets to a point whereby it's like you've hit your peak, and no matter how much you try, you're not making any progress. But the moment you take some break and then come back, you come back with a refreshed mind, and you're able to think more clearly, then you can be able to reason out and get ideas. So that persistence and that determination really pushes you to get something, and by constant repetition, you'll get yourself getting somewhere.
That's good. That's pretty nice advice. That's pretty nice advice. I'm wondering, this is a great opportunity for us to maybe talk to future generations who want to come to Sufi and maybe guide them. So your advice is a really good one. I can give another advice. Try to talk to people, because that's the way how we keep strong and we get advices. So yeah, that's something really great about this opportunity that we are having. Because let me tell you something that's happening in my life. Sometimes I don't know how to explain all the harsh, all the difficult, all the pressures that we were having here, that I have been through, because it's difficult to explain, let's say, to my mom, to my friends. I think this is a great opportunity for maybe somebody who is interested. But it's quite interesting for me because it's a really, really harsh journey, and it's really difficult to explain.
It is for sure.
If somebody is not
In it.
inside, living in it, he
Yeah.
would never understand.
You're the one who put the shoe, so you understand where it hurts the most.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Let's move a little bit to the supervisor. What's the one thing nobody tells you about having a supervisor?
One thing, having a supervisor, it's I can say the experience varies from person to person, and it also depends on all the supervisors, they have different attributes. So, and they work differently. That's one thing I've learned about the supervisors. But one thing I've always liked about my supervisor that I never knew is his availability. And he's a very relaxed man, a very cool guy. I always like. Of course, sometimes he'd always give you very harsh comments, but those comments are very objective. They really help you to improve your work. But he's not very, very harsh. He's actually a polite guy. He'll give you some discouraging comments. Sometimes you've really spent time trying to work on your work, and then you're told maybe it's not the thing that was expected. So that is one thing that I didn't know. Like sometimes you could put in so much effort and your work gets no acceptance. But the thing about him is that I can only speak about my supervisor because he's the one I've experienced. He's always very encouraging sometimes. He has a human heart. He understands that we are actually doing our best. It's not an easy journey, but everyone is doing their best to ensure that they get what is required. Because in the end, we all want to finish and get to pursue other objectives in life. So we are all doing our best, trying to make ends meet. So sometimes when you go and you find that you've not really gotten exactly what you want, he can always try to kind of encourage you, give you ideas on what you can do. And so the one thing that no one tells you about supervisors is that they will always push you. But he will push you only if you push yourself. So don't expect to just relax and expect yourself to have some push from somewhere. You have to actually have that self-drive, because the pace with which you move with your supervisor actually is determined by how determined you are as a person. So if you choose to relax, the professor will as well relax. So that is one thing I can say that no one tells you about your supervisor, but it's something that should be inbuilt. Because in my back home, I think the experience was a bit different. If you tend to have some tendency of laxity, you can actually be pushed, like you can be like flagged, you can be blacklisted. Maybe you're not doing your work, you're not doing the best you're supposed to do. But here, if you relax, the professor will just relax just like you. So you have to be a self-willed person, a self-driven person, because the professor also has so many people. Like my professor has almost 20 students that he's supervising, so he cannot be following up on each and every individual. So you need to have the self-drive, because every week he avails himself for us to meet up with him. So you have to be pushing yourself, try to get the best that you can. Even if sometimes you don't get the best, just go and show him what you have, at least to show you're putting in the effort. So then with that, you'll be encouraging him, and it will also be motivating you. And by that small step, you'll be making progress, because sometimes progress is something that you don't even get to see. But in the end, if you look after some time, you'll realize, oh, I've come from this point to this point. So by those little efforts that you put in, that's what progress is made up of. From experience, that's what I've learned. Like, those little efforts that you put in is what really brings progress. So you have to keep pushing for you to encourage your supervisor and for you also to make progress in your work.
Okay. You already have answered all of my questions in this part, but let me share you one thought. I do believe in not giving everything, like something like managing and knowing when to push and when to hold back. And also when not to take every comment like personally, like an attack. And I read somewhere, and it's a skill that nobody teaches you. And then I was wondering also about, it said something like the course competence in the work. Let's say if you give everything to your boss, to the competent worker, it's gonna be another burden. So I was realizing that it's kind of the same thing over here in the research job. We need to know when to push, when to hold, and trying to keep a balance. And then I found another question that I'm gonna ask you. When I was thinking about all these stuff, so do you think sometimes supervisors extract more from PhD students than they put in? Because I have read and I have listened something like exploitation. Do you think that happens?
I don't know. I think it all depends on your perspective and your view of, everything depends on the perspective, how you see it. For me, I take it as, someone else would read this as exploitation, but I would read this as someone who's really trying to enhance your skills, to give you an experience, to sharpen your skills. So if at one point my professor asked me to help him do some cleaning for some personal data or rather some personal work that he was doing, to me I saw that as him giving me an opportunity to learn how to do some cleaning and how to like generate variables and all that. So if at all I could have a different perspective, I could see maybe, why is he trying to give me his work? The thing that he should be doing is not even in line with my research, but he's asking me to do it. But my perspective was that he's giving me an opportunity to learn how to do something in research. So I think to that is so dependent on a person. Like, it varies from person to person and your perspective. So you could see it as exploitation, or you could see it as an opportunity for you to learn. But it all depends, so long as it's not being done at the expense of your progress, because you also need to make progress here in school. We are time bound. So we have a certain period of time. Like for me personally, I had 3 years of study leave because I did my first year online. So I was really working against a limited time. So I could not so much focus on the professor's work and leave aside my research. So if at all I was spending much work on the professor's work and leaving aside my core mandate, then that would feel to me like exploitation. But if it was something that was limited, like given for a period of time that does not really conflict so much with my scheduled time, then I think to me that would be an opportunity to sharpen my skills. So it all depends on your perspective and your time plan. Yes.
Yeah, sure. I feel the same. We're trying to get, we are approaching the last part of our conversation. So tell me something. What did this journey actually cost you? Like, not financially, but in terms of time, energy, or simply things you didn't get to be present for?
Yes, so there are quite a couple of things that I had to put at the expense of me coming here. Of course, one of them, the biggest, is family. You have to leave family back home and come back to a place where you don't have your family. So it's it's one thing like that really brought a huge gap in my personal life, because I had to leave everything else. I had to leave my job. I had to leave the people I'm used to come to a foreign land. Actually, if it was my will, if it was in my power, I was actually comfortable with pursuing my studies online. But at the time when we were doing our studies online, we were given up to a year, because within a year we were supposed to come back to China, because after that year they were supposed to cut the online classes, and they are also supposed to like hold the stipend until you're able to come to China. So in terms of things that I've taken a break from is, of course, even my workplace. Actually, I was getting so many opportunities to explore how the government works, and in it I was also getting some benefits. So I've had to step aside and put these benefits away for some time to come and pursue my studies. So that's another thing that I've put on side. And then in terms of social life, of course, as I'd started with our this podcast, so I was explaining how socially we've come from different backgrounds, the way we relate with people differently, but it has also given me another view and another opportunity to interact with the people from diverse backgrounds. And one thing I'm grateful, in as much as, of course, socially, I feel like, because many a times here in China, for sure, this is for real, you will always spend much of your time in your academics, because it's the commandate in which we came here to China. So you cannot socialize in the same way you used to socialize when you're back home, because back home you have your people, you can speak the same language, you can walk freely. You don't have to renew your visa. You don't have these things. So you're a free person in your country. So that thing I've had to set aside also. But also one thing China has given me is the global network. That is one thing I have to be grateful for, because now if I go to Ecuador, I know I have a friend in Ecuador. If I go to Ghana, I have a friend in Ghana. If I go to any place, if I go to maybe any part of the country, of the world, I'm sure at least I know someone who knows someone else. So if I happen to find myself in any part of the world, I'm sure I can be able to get someone that I can contact with, someone that I can connect with. So that is one thing China has added to me, aside from the other things that I've had to put aside to come and pursue my studies. Yeah.
All right. The next is a common question and kind of funny question for me, because we always pursuing the PhD. We see as the great thing, right? So the day you finish, what did it feel like? Not what you expected, what it actually was.
It was a mixed feeling for me. You know, the thing about PhD is that, for me, the journey, how it has been, like especially from the courses, not after the courses. Of course, when you're in the courses, it's like once you finish your second year, it's like you've done half of the work. And then now the other half of the work is in the research. So the research is just like, I can describe it in form of a mountain. If you're going to a hike, I personally love hiking. Although I've not had a good chance to hike here in China, but just picture it as hiking. When you have a mountain and you're going up the mountain, you get to the peak and then you start descending. So when I was, before my proposal, I was like climbing the mountain, and then I did my proposal defense. Then the next step was to do my pre-defense, which was another part of hiking the mountain. So the moment you submit your work for external review, it's like you're at the peak. And the peak, what determines whether you'll descend or not is the review that you get from your external examiners. So the moment you get good scores from your external examiners, you start descending. The final defense I did, and how that thing came to be is like, you've done your final defense, you've been told you've passed, then all the pressures that you've been feeling is suddenly brought to a stop. So I was really excited. I was really I was feeling like all this thing like that has been pushing me now, it's all gone. And I felt like I could even take everyone for dinner, you know, like just invite everyone, just go and have a good time together, have some fun. I remember that day we went to watch some more football match. We had some dinner with some friends, including you. So I was really excited as a person. And I was like, now I'm now a free man. I can do whatever I want. I can go whichever place I want. All those things I wanted to do, I felt like I could do them at that point in time. Yeah, but you also realize the fun can only go up to a certain point. So after some point, you start feeling like it's a normal thing. But the thing is that it makes you feel very liberal. You're so free, you have so much time at your disposal. So you can do so many things that you've always desired to do. So it was really an exciting feeling for me. And yeah, I think, yeah, that was my whole experience. It is the peak, the climax for me.
All right,
Yeah,
I understand. I understand. That give me a lot of hope for this final 4 year that I'm getting into. So two more questions. Looking back at the person who arrived in Chengdu, what do you wish you know that nobody told you?
What I wish that I would know
Yeah,
that nobody told me.
Let's say something really important for somebody who is freshman that nobody told you.
There are quite a couple of things I can say, but one thing that I'm really trying to think that comes to my mind could be here in China, you have to be really determined. Determination, yeah. You know, it gets very hard sometimes.
We have seen a couple of friends who went back and never came.
Yeah.
Came back
It's
to the
easy to give up.
university, right?
Yeah. So you really have to be very determined.
And then they go home and they never
come back. People drop out along the way. So you have to be very determined, a very strong-willed person. I think you have to be and what you said actually is also another thing. Like, try connect with people whom you share the same values.
As you say, personal balance.
Yeah. And also the balance. One thing maybe I can also ask you how you, as a question also to you, how you manage to balance life. I always admire how you have some time for your work in school, you have some time for bike riding, you have some time for gym, you have time for fun. I always admire that mix of life.
It's I think it's personality as well. I am so pragmatic. Like my pragmatism, leave aside, let's say, the perfect marks and the perfect grades for sports. I always loved sports. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's something I've always admired. Like I always want to have this mix in my life, because you know academics also is too serious. Sometimes you need something to break that.
That's something I imbibe from you. Like, I want to be serious, like this guy sitting down and reading until I know every of these HSK words, Chinese words.
I always admire that thing about you. So
thank you, and thanks for this conversation. It's been really nice. Just last question. Is there something you are really proud of you from this journey, these 4 years, that has nothing to do with the research?
Absolutely. I think the achievements, it has nothing to do with research, but the whole achievement, it's something I'm proud of, because as I said, my goal was to finish my PhD.
Yeah, and study abroad, time. Right?
Yeah, study abroad.
That was my dream since I remember. I always heard people is studying abroad, and I used to say, I want to be one of them.
Yeah. I've never been a foreign student now.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels nice, you know, when you're back home, you're a local student. Now you're referred to as a foreign student. It's a good feeling. And also, the mere fact that I was able, you know, one thing I have to tell you is that when I was doing my studies here in Sufi, some couple of friends were telling me, never think you can finish your PhD in 4 years. But I never took that to my heart. You know, people can always say things, but it's only in your power to decide what stays with you. So I never took that advice. So I pushed myself, and I knew it is possible. So I was like, if it doesn't come to be, but at least I'll have tried my best. So I did everything in my ability. And of course, with lots of prayers and all that, I, 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 I did my best, and I was able to do it in 4 years, which is something that I'm really proud of myself, because many people, a couple of people told me, never think of finishing PhD in China in 4 years. So it's something I can send out as an encouragement also to other students, that it's actually possible. If you set your heart to do something, you can do it.
That's a nice thing to be proud of, like,
yes,
to put the bad comments aside and to make those bad comments make encouragement.
Yes.
Right, that's really nice.
Because many students I know, they have actually taken 5 years, some 4.5 years, 6 years,
7, right?
Some are even not done, and they're in their 8th year now. So
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah. So always be determined, have your goals set right, and pursue them with all diligence. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, my man. This has been our human conversation.
Thank you so
part
much.
of my collection. Thanks for being in here. So you're giving me a lot to think about my own final year and to understand better my life as well. So we'll see you in the next conversation.
Thank you. Wish you all the best. Thank you, man.
Let's take some pictures and we are done. Man. Wait,
okay.
wait there. Good. I'm feeling good. How you feel?
Good, very good.
Yeah, it's
going well.
It's kind of going with the flow. Yeah. I'm feeling better.
Questions are leading.
I'm feeling good. So, pardon me?
Do you have some social media handle that you update the videos, or you just keep them on your computer?
Of course, it will be on YouTube because it's too much space.
You have some channel already?
Yeah.
I need to follow your channel, man.
I just.
Oh, it's in your language.
It's just for me, but I mean, yeah.
You don't need followers.
Of course, I will share with you, but
I thought you need many followers to help you maybe subscribe. At some point, you can start getting some money.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah. My main aim. The idea I like podcasts. I like to listen to some podcasts of history and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Then I realized my dad is getting old. So then I remind when I was very young, so 5 years old, 6 years old, he used to record me on very old video cassette recorders. So he has some audios of me. So then I say, I need to have some audios of him. So I need to make him talk and record him. And then I said, yeah, podcast, that's the thing to do.
The right thing, yeah.
So I was developing the idea. And then I said, yeah, I need to buy the mics. I need to record also my kid. And then I say, why not my friends? So
yeah, that's good.
So yeah, the main idea that I'm having is going to be my collection of human conversation. So with my friends mostly.
Okay.
But the main goal is to understand life. So I understand life through the life of others.
Other people.
Then I understand myself better. Yeah.
So like it's not, I thought you're doing it maybe for some commercial gains and to get some followers.
Who knows, man? Who knows? But
yeah, it can become a big thing, man.
I don't think so, but let's try.
Yeah,
Even though I think it's a good opportunity to interact, make another bond, develop social skill, speaking skills. Kind of I lack of it. So I say, why not? Let's make it a hobby and we can make a lot of birds in the same shot.
Yeah, absolutely. But what happens now if you have friends who are away from where you are? Like if people are far from,
I was thinking about that.
Like
Maybe I will do by
some
by
online-
video. Yeah.
yeah, that would be good also, because some people, I'm sure even back home you have some friends.
I have so many good friends like from my childhood who
Oh,
are
yeah.
very far away.
Mm-mm.
So
You can also do some.
I'm gonna develop this as a hobby.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
then I will be targeting everyone.
Everyone, yeah. Even back home when you're going back home, you can also.
Then talk, let's say, about the elementary school, about the high school.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah.
about
Many
some
things.
with a football player, with a basketball player, many things. So that's the idea, man.
It's very nice, a good idea. So you picked it up from your dad.
Yeah, because he liked me, and he has those cassettes.
You still have them up to date? Does he still have those cassettes?
Yeah, he has. He has it.
Ah.
He has it.
But
I'm going back, and I'm going to
record
make
him
a
also.
lot of videos with him.
Yeah.
I want to make him tell all the stories that I grow up listening.
Ah, he's
Because
still full of energy.
not really, but I'll try.
You'll
I'll
try.
try my best. I'll try my best.
What about your mom?
Mom's okay. She can talk a lot.
All right.
All right, my man. So let's start.
We get it started, yeah.
All right, my man.